What's up, YouTube? It's another episode of First Jesus Basketball. It's me, Blessed Branco, and I'm here about to tell you about the Bobby Hurley story, how we first encountered each other, and how it has helped and molded me into the talent I am today. Let's get right into it. So the Bobby Hurley story, let's start off with my Duke visit. So before that, my goal was to get coached by Coach K at Duke University. And I kind of knew of Hurley. I knew of his dad, but I ended up going to, if you haven't checked out the Duke basketball story, check out the Duke basketball story on this channel. But however, I went there coming out of school with no offers, and I'm here at Cameron, and I was actually a 0.3 points away from walking on to Duke University on my GPA. And like I said, you can check out the story, the Duke basketball story, where it talks about that and me almost playing Jabari Parker one-on-one, things like that. Anyway, so I got shown a tour of the championships at Cameron, and I did see Bobby Hurley's assist record. And I remember thinking to myself, like, wow, that's dope, And when I come here at Duke University, I'm gonna surpass that. That's exactly what I was thinking. I didn't say it out loud, but I said it internally. And being at the campus, being able to see all the special players coming from everywhere. Obviously, it was no question Duke University was where I wanted to be. I wanted to be coached by the best college coach of all time, because I knew he would take my game to another level. Long story short, didn't get into Duke. As I said, I was a 0.3 off. They needed a 3.7. I had a 3.4 GPA. So Tien, it ended up taking me to Buffalo, University of Buffalo. So I ended up taking basically like a $30,000 risk, basically going there, knowing that I'm going to be a walk-on, because that's basically how much the tuition was at the time. And I get to campus, and I go to the office, and I see Hurley's assistant coach, and he tells me that tryouts are going to be in 2 months, and of course he's viewing me as like he would the other 32,000 other students, and I guess you would say he did judge a book by its cover. Mind you, this is a D1 mid-major school, so it's not like you're going to NAIA or anything where those opportunities are very common, or there's even a tryout or things like that. No offense, but coming from my background, where I didn't have no D1 offers, not a D2 offer, not a D3 offer, Ja Morant and Steph Curry and I share those weird relationships with what you call the ESPN experts, and it turns out there that essentially there weren't even going to be any tryouts. And you'd be like, wow, so how did you even get on a team in a place like that, mid-major school? You don't have no offers, no one knows who you are, and you telling them you can play. 30,000 kids say the same thing, but why are we picking you? There's no reason to pick you at this. So at this point, when I found out that there really wasn't even going to be any tryouts, that the coach, lied to me. At this point, I just started training, just started trusting in God, getting ready. I knew that there was no way that I was going to fail. I just didn't know the path that it was going to take me, to get there. And you just gotta do what you love. It's not about the money. I wasn't doing it for the money, although I know the scholarship could definitely help my situation and the risk that I took. But to me, it was like, you chase what you love, and the money will flood and come later. So that 30,000 is the risk that I was going to bet on myself, and I knew triple was going to come back, whether it was in the form of signing a pro contract or whatever. So one day, I see a shooting machine that's like already set up. It had the light on it, like no one was around. It was like calling on me to like, come shoot on me. And and I'm not meant to really shoot on it. So I was like, no one's around. I need this for my, to get some reps. So I shoot about like 500. And then the starting point guard, because obviously I knew who, kind of, around in campus. And I immediately say, my bad, here's your machine. Because I was like, man, I caught red-handed. And he was like, no, you're fine. You continue. I was like, okay. So I just basically shot for like another 10 minutes. And I really wanted to go to about 1K, 1,000 shots made. But I was like, let me not overdo it. This guy's being nice. He's saying continue. He could be on some, let me kick him out. He's not even supposed to be on the shooting machine. And then after the workout, after I'm done, I say, hey, I'm done, he asked me my name. And he goes, yo, you're pretty legit, man. I'm going to tell Hurley about you. And I said, okay, bro. And I'm thinking it's cool if you really don't, because a lot of people say things just to just say them, So now I'm in my head thinking like, let me just let it go now, because I don't want to have the expectation and me thinking that, and then me, maybe resenting the person that didn't live up to what they said or whatever. So I'm like, just let it go. It's not, God got it sorted out. And then now to the day that I meet Hurley, right? So at this point, me and the PG, the point guard at that time, started to build a relationship. We started working out with each other. We started to help each other with each other's game. I'm giving him some tips on here. He's giving me a few tips there and there. And for some reason this night, he just wasn't with me in the gym at all. Like, I think he went to some, I don't know if maybe it was like a missions parade or something like that. But he wasn't with me at the time. Maybe it was a college thing. I don't know. So I was alone in the arena. We're talking about that 6,000 people, and that requires a password to get into the arena and to turn on the lights. So I'm in this arena, right? And I'm shooting, and it's like 6 p.m. So mind you, all the coaches went home. So there should be no one there at all. Nothing. Then I hear a footstep behind me. And it's like, mind you, all the lights are on the court, so everything else is dark. But I can hear someone coming, right? And by their silhouette or their shadow, and by the swag and the way he was hopping, I knew it was Hurley. And I'm like, damn, he's about to kick me out the gym, right? So I strategically waited till he was about 10 to 12 feet from me. And I was like, all right, this is my one chance, Nah, all seriousness, I was like, if I'm gonna go out, I'm going out with a bang. So I did, because a lot of people have right hands or very, very strong hands. But I was like, let me go on my weak hand. Let me show him how good I am on my weak side, because he probably was watching me shoot. So I did a left hand in and out, drove one dribble, cocked it back, two hand, off the right foot. So dunked the ball so hard and so clean. Boom. As he as he continued walking, because he was like going towards the parking lot. So he's like this close now. He's like, here's what he says to me. I like how you did that, son. My response. A lot of practice, coach. It was like straight out of a movie. I had nothing else to say but a lot of practice, coach. So expect to see that in my biopic. Expect to see that in my biopic, guys. By the way. So 2 days later, I get a call from the point guard, and he goes, Hurley said he wants to set up a meeting in his office. I said, say it again. He said Hurley said he wants to set up a meeting with you in his office. Okay, mind you, this is Bobby Hurley, a 2-time national champion, an NBA lottery pick, a Duke alum, played for the greatest high school and the greatest college coach of all time, no debate, saying he wants to meet me, Blessed Branco, the no offer guy, the never gonna amount to nothing guy, the you'll never get into the NBA guy. He wants to meet with me. Cool. So in the meeting, we had a great conversation, and he was just straight up. He was like, look, no playing time here as promised, but I'm gonna give you an opportunity. You know, I'm like, okay. Got my physical the next day, and, you know, eventually started practicing with the team, you know, working my way in, whether at first it was, you would say, maybe rebounding, helping guys. Now I think part of me was like, I did think they probably wanted to see, they probably was like taking me as an experiment. They wanted to see, like, can he even pass with 2 hands straight? And obviously these are basic fundamentals that I knew I was going to be able to do consistently, being able to pass the correct way, things like that. So obviously they didn't know, no one knew at this time. I think I mentioned it in the meeting to Hurley that I had just came from Duke, but I think, you know, before that, prior, I didn't need to tell him I was from Duke. He just kind of saw, I think he just saw from that dunk, he was like, that you had to have been put in some type of undeniable work that is obviously clear that you can do that. So, you know, 2 of my most memorable moments is, you know, I started to find favor from Hurley, and he even started to make me play as Devin Booker right before we played the University of Kentucky. You know, and which you can learn more in the Devin Booker story on this channel as well. You know, and it's like I said, it's a powerful story. Definitely go and check out the Devin Booker story on this channel. It'll be fine-tuned details on you know what I'm saying. So the other is I remember having good grades, but I was struggling in physics at the time, and at that time I was taking exercise science because, you know, I really wanted to go to the school, really essentially because my major was basketball, you know, but my parents really wanted me to get education, and education's not wrong. I'm really smart. I always would get good grades, but physics for some reason was just so hard. And, you know, there was some jealousy on the staff, and, you know, I was failing in physics, and they brought it to Hurley's attention, essentially. But Hurley, he didn't approach me rudely, you know, he approached me really respectfully, you know, as a father would. He pulled me aside, and he said he had to suspend me for practice until I got my grades up, essentially, until further notice, more so. So now I was basically sidelined, you know, for one day, for that practice, for basically that practice, the beginning of that practice, that was the day, right? And mind you, I think this was around like Christmas break, so we're nowhere near our families or anything. We had to stay back, or we probably left and came back for like 4 days or whatever. So now, like I said, I'm sidelined, but then something unexpected happened. the team started to slack in practice. There was like no energy. Guys was going through the motion. No one was playing hard. And we all kind of knew a little bit of why. And then Hurley just made an executive decision. He said, Bronco, go get dressed. Those were his exact words. He said, Bronco, go get dressed. If you were to see the look on the face of some of the staff, they're like, yeah, it got to that point at sometimes. But, he said, Bronco, go get dressed. I ran right to the locker room. And then the rest was history. The rest was history. That was December, right after, I believe, the Kentucky stretch. And then I think we were going to play Wisconsin, which they had French Kaminsky. I think so. But yeah, the rest was history. We end up being the first ever team in school history to go to the NCAA tournament. And I remember, like, it's weird saying it, but I told all of my teammates that we were going to go to the NCAA tournament when I joined the team. And some of them thought I was crazy. I can recall some of them saying, bro, what? Like, we barely get past the first round. Like we have to beat, like, that's not gonna happen, bro. Not now. Like, it's impossible. I'm like, bro, it's not impossible. Watch. And I just try to lead by that example by never taking the sprint off. Never taking the sprint off at all. There's no one who can say you ain't take a sprint off. There's actually going to be a video I'm going to come up present to you guys when Buffalo reporters tried to play me. Someone said that, who you think can go to the NBA? They said no one on the team, but I do think Bronco has a chance to go to the NBA G League. They said Russell Westbrook shoots, pass, scores this, and they said, oh, I'm not impressed with his shooting, his dribbling. He just tries harder than everyone. That don't even make any sense. Anyways, so, like I said, I wanted to be coached by the best. And, going to Buffalo, I knew I was going to be coached by Hurley, who had that connection already to the best. So from what he's seen. Because at 16, I already been doing things naturally that I saw NBA players could not do. Think about it. I'm 27 now. I'm at 16. 16. Imagine living your life being more than a diamond in the rough, but a diamond under a rock, literally. A diamond under a rock, straight out of nowhere. No D1s, no D2s, not even barely D3s. I'm in a small school, breaking records. Ain't nobody. Well, okay, MSG varsity. They heard of it, and they came out to one game, and the place was packed. But essentially, straight out of nowhere, at least to the naked eye. And it can be frustrating in that place, but it can also be it's a blessing and a curse. It's like knowing that your story is being built up to be this thing, and I know all at the end of the day, it's really not for me. It's way bigger than me. It's honestly to make it. When I make it, it's more so to give God the glory, so He can use me as an example and say, look, this little thing, the wisest people thought you had to do it this way, but I brought the person that you didn't even expect here. And like I said, one of the other moments I had was being one of Hurley's favorite. We had about 12 to 14 guys on our team, and it was Thanksgiving, and we all split for Thanksgiving, and I was in that group of 4 that was invited to Hurley's house. And I remember Hurley showing us his USA basketball sign when he beat Michael Jordan and the Dream Team, back in the days. And it was really humbling, and it felt really good to see that part of history really up close. And at dinner, you know, we got to speak about, you know, we go around the table, you say, what are you thankful for? And I remember my speech being the longest, you know, to the longest, you know, at the point where people was like, Bronco, we appreciate you, but can we, because, you know, like, it was so long, and I was just thanking them, thanking everyone at the table, thanking, you know, thanking God, and they were like looking at me like, you belong here, bro. And for me, for 1 second, despite all the confidence and all the things that I have, you know, for 1 second, I didn't believe it, because I've been overlooked massively, you know, and it just made me really appreciate just little parts of life. So like, if I was to die tomorrow, I did the impossible. I did the unexpected already. And now I'm just basically trying to do it again and again. That's where I'm at. So the greatness that God has already instilled in me has already been out, you know. And speaking of Hurley, you know, I've visited Hurley at Arizona State just to see how he's doing. You know, and many people ask me, you know, why didn't you just go to Arizona State? Why, you know, there's 2 people who went with him from Buffalo. Why didn't you just go there? And to be honest, I've never ever shared this with anyone, but I'm gonna share this with you guys because you guys made it to this video. Is, you know, I was scared to hear his response. You know, behind the scenes, I already knew he took a risk with his job, you know, bringing in the starting guard with him from Buffalo. So to me, I didn't even want to cause more confusion, yet alone they're perceiving it, you know, Arizona State is perceiving it as a walk-on and this, and may not have any scholarships and this, it would have been too much confusion. And I knew, like, even with Hurley's camp and everything, and the coaching staff, because he basically took the whole coaching staff and everything with him, it's like I know I was accepted, but I still was a little bit marginalized. Like, people say, forget that, man, you should have went to Arizona State. It was your redshirt year. You sat out last year. And like I said, part of me really felt accepted, but the other part felt a little marginalized. Like, it would have been no point in me going to Arizona State if I wasn't going to start as a guard. You know what I'm saying? Or I felt like it wasn't it wasn't already there. So, or I wasn't fully appreciated. I was appreciated for my talents, but I don't think not fully. So I basically decided to take my talents to California. And in a weird way, it worked out for me. I ended up being featured in a Powerade commercial. I met my beautiful wife here. Well, she's not from California, but she's from England, and we ended up meeting in Hollywood at the same time. God does that. You know, if I didn't listen to God's voice, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. Or those things, maybe if I was at Arizona State, I would have been another statistic and not going above beyond. I made relationships at UCLA. You know, I trained and played with and played against Kevin Durant, James Harden, and learned from millions of pros. Although I'm still on that journey to the NBA, you know, my journey will be unstructured and unorthodox, but I'll get there. Even if I'm a 35-year-old rookie, I'll never rest because the job's not finished. Or like Kobe would say, job finished? Job done? Job not done. Doesn't mean I'm not a happy person. Doesn't mean I'm not grateful. I'm grateful. I thank God every day for the roof over my head, food on the table, my wife, little things I don't mention on a daily basis. I have 5 fingers. Some people have 4 fingers. I'm grateful. But I know there's more glory that needs to be shined on God for the unexpected. And like I end every video is see God first and the rest will be added on to you, guaranteed. Seek God first, and the rest will be added on to you, guaranteed. Seek God first and his righteousness, and the rest will be added on to you, guaranteed. Love you guys. Thank you guys for those who are tuning into this channel. Make sure you please subscribe. Make sure you share this video. It helps with the algorithms of YouTube, help it to reach more people. If it bless your life, thank you. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at Fola Branco, FOLABRANCO, and just continue to just support me on this journey. I do invite criticism. I do invite what you think I can do to improve, what you think I can do to be better, and we give God the glory, and thank you guys for tuning in. Stay blessed.